Hello, BookTube. I predicted yesterday that I might get no mail today. I did get mail today, but my prediction is still kind of sort of on the table. I get the strong feeling walking around, visiting various shops and places. I did that briefly today. I get the strong impression that everyone is just ready to bolt. that pretty much here in America we have a federal holiday on Wednesday, and it's a federal holiday that doesn't always fall on a Wednesday. The day progresses from year to year. And this year, the day happens to be in the middle of a work week, which is presenting everybody with a problem. What do? Do you call in for the whole week? Do you work a couple of days and then take the rest of the week off? Do you work the whole time except for that one day? It's looking to me like most people, at least in Boston, are deciding to take the whole week off. So any kind of business-related correspondence that I'm doing that's in America, I'm getting automated responses left, right, and center. I'm not even going to bother trying anymore. And the mail the same way. I know they're union. I know they have Independence Day off. They don't have Thursday or Friday off, but I'm not expecting to see my mailman, my FedEx driver, my UPS driver. I'm not expecting to see anybody for the rest of the week. So this might very well be the last mail haul of the week. And it starts off with something very small. And I've noticed that lately I've been getting tons and tons of catalogs, fall and winter catalogs. So this could either be a catalog, which would be a dream come true, or a slim volume of poetry, which would be a living nightmare. So which is it going to be? The lady or the tiger? Let's see. Let's see what it is. Let's start this off with a totally binary thing here. What is this? It's a slim volume of poetry. But it's by someone that I've heard BookTube praise. So this comes out in November. It's A Sleepwalk on the Severn, and it's by Alice Oswald. I've heard a few people praise her, so I'm not going to bother. I mean, I've heard a few people praise her, so I'm willing to credit intellectually that she's a very good contemporary living poet. But I have heard people praise contemporary living poets, and I open their book at random and read one of their poems, and it's... I'm not discounting the praise, but there's a fundamental wavelength problem. So, alright, so the first thing we got today is a slim volume of poetry by Alice Oswald. I think Jack the Bibliophile used to praise Alice Oswald. Remember when Jack the Bibliophile had a BookTube channel? It's a long time ago. But I've heard other people do it too, so I'm willing to say that Alice Oswald is a good poet, just based on other recommendations, but I know better than to try myself. What have we got here? This is from 7th Street Books. They do murder mysteries. This is going to be a paperback original in early October. Paperback original at $16, not terrifically bank killing. And it's by Bradley Harper, and it's called A Knife in the Fog, a murder mystery starring Margaret Harkness and Arthur Conan Doyle. Let's see here. September 1888. Uh-oh. 1888. We all know what that date means. Jack the Ripper. 29-year-old Arthur Conan Doyle practices medicine by day and writes at night. His first Sherlock Holmes story, A Study in Scarlet, although gaining critical and popular success, has only netted him £25. Embittered by the experience, he vows never to write another crime story. Then a messenger arrives from a mysterious summons from former Prime Minister William Gladstone, asking him to come to London immediately. Once there, he is offered 1 month's employment to assist the Metropolitan Police as a consultant in their hunt for the serial killer soon to be known as Jack the Ripper. Doyle, I feel sorry for all the murderers in London in 1888 who weren't Jack the Ripper. I think. So you might have had a chance at a headline, but not in 1888, no. Doyle agrees on the stipulation that his old professor of surgery, Dr. Joseph Bell, Doyle's inspiration for Sherlock Holmes, agrees to work with him. Bell agrees, and soon the two are joined by Miss Margaret Harkness, an author residing in the East End who knows how to use a derringer and serves as their guide and companion. So it's not Sherlock Holmes versus Jack the Ripper, a very popular Sherlock Holmes pastiche idea. But it's the next best thing. It's Arthur Conan Doyle, called in by the Metropolitan Police as a consultant on the Ripper murders. So this is right up my alley. I know everything there is to know about the Ripper murders. I've studied the case inside and out. I've written reviews on a great many books and read the endless surging ocean of Jack the Ripper books. I've read vast numbers of them. I've also read a huge amount of Jack the Ripper fiction. When it comes to a historical novel like this, I'm going to have the comfort of reading it through and hitting a certain thing or whatever, a certain event or detail in the book. And unlike someone who perhaps is coming to this book without knowing everything there is to know about Jack the Ripper, I'm not going to hit that detail and wonder, oh, I wonder if that's real. I wonder if that's true. I'm not, in other words, going to have to take the author. I'm not going to have to take his word for anything. I'll be able to see immediately what he's doing with the material, and I'm all for it. That's great. So great, a Jack the Ripper murder mystery for the fall. All right, let's move on here. Now, my mailman was decidedly wilted today. He has all my sympathy because he's out there in ferocious heat all day long, and he also has to deal with neighborhood dogs. We've had conversations about that before many times. In fact, a couple of times we've encountered each other on the sidewalk. I think I've mentioned on this channel that sometimes he just hands me my packages. If his van is driving by and he sees me on the sidewalk, he'll just slow down and hand me my mail. Sometimes. And sometimes we've encountered each other while he's walking on his route. And one time, a couple of months ago, he was walking down the street, and we took up, next to each other. I was asking him how his day was going. He said, my day is going just fine, but I'm dreading this next house because there's an enormous dog in the backyard, and I'm always worried that he's going to leave the yard. I'm always worried that he's going to attack me. He could easily clear the fence, and the mail slot is very close to where he is. It drives me. He said it drives him crazy to get that close to a dog who's lunging at the fence the whole time. I feel for mail carriers just in general who have to deal with that. Imagine in rural areas where there are no fences. In that particular instance, I told him, well, how about if you make friends with the dog, and then he won't lunge at the fence anymore. He'll just look at you, or maybe come up to the fence and sort of, observe you closely, but he won't try and attack you through the fence. And I said, well, I don't have the time to get to know his owners and maybe get to know him. And I said, no, I'll introduce you right now. Just come up the steps. And he said, oh, you're crazy. If he's lunging at the fence with one person, he'll be going crazy with two people. I said, no. Trust me. So we went up the stairs, and the dog saw him first. He went up first with his satchel. The dog went nuts. And I went up and told the dog to quiet down, walked over to the fence, face smooched with him, and then sort of put the two in contact with it. This is not an intruder. This is not a danger. This is not a threat to your territory or to your masters. This is a person. You can ignore him, or you can wag your butt, because he's a Rottweiler. He doesn't have a tail. He has a docked tail, so he wags his whole butt. He's big as a Sherman tank. Really, he's as big as my last 3 dogs put together. But he's a sweetheart. Once you're past his defenses, he's a sweetheart. And the mailman said, "Oh, can I take you along for the whole route?" But today, cool. Today he's got to do that same route. Up and down, hill and dale, in 100-degree heat. Anyway, this next one is a finished copy of something we've seen before. This is The Dead by Christian Kracht, translated from the German by Daniel Bowles, with blurbs from Karl Ove Knausgaard, Sejan, and Joshua Cohen, who's oh, good Lord, the blurbs just go on and on. Oh my! Oh, these are blurbs from Imperium, the author's previous book. Publishers Weekly thought it was one of the best books of 2015. Henry Alford praised it in the New York Times Book Review. Michael Upchurch praised it in the Seattle Times. Those of you who are in Seattle, are they looking for a reviewer? Steve might love to place a review at the Seattle Times. Perhaps work with them regularly. And somebody at the Wall Street Journal named Sam Sachs called it a delightful historical farce. Imperium, that is. So The Dead, no, though. And The Dead, the pub sheet for The Dead just has blurbs. It doesn't actually tell us anything about. It's kind of a distinctive looking book. Let's see, we'll do this the SFF 180 way and try to make it work. This is a follow-up to the author's acclaimed novel Imperium, in which he mines the feverish film culture of the 1930s to produce a gothic tale of global conspiracy, personal loss, and historical entanglements large and small. In Berlin, Germany, thanks, otherwise it'd be Berlin, New Hampshire, where I've been to both Berlins, in the early 1930s, the acclaimed Swiss film director Emil Nageli receives the assignment of a lifetime: travel to Japan and take a film to establish the dominance of Adolf Hitler's Nazi empire once and for all. Nageli's handlers are unaware, however, that he is colluding with Jewish film critics to pursue an alternate objective, creating a monumental, modernist, allegorical spectacle to warn the world of the horror to come. And this is coming out soon, very soon, I think. July 17th. I haven't got to it. It's a perfect example of how I use finished copies as a spur. And it looks like I'm not going to have any kind of gameful employment or activity this week, so I'll have plenty of time to get all of July's books read. As all of my slug-a-bed real-world friends are taking the whole week off to go on vacation. But anyway, let's see what this next one is. A finished copy of something from Princeton University Press. Ooh. Oh my. Oh, it's due in late June. All right, well, I can hop right on it. Yikes. Okay, it's due in late June. Princeton, please. This is Christianity in the 20th Century by Brian Stanley. Wow. This book charts the transformation of one of the world's great religions during an age marked by world wars, genocide, nationalism, decolonialization, and powerful ideological currents, many of them hostile to Christianity. Written by a leading scholar of world Christianity, the book traces how Christianity evolved from a religion defined by the culture and politics of Europe to the expanding polycentric and multicultural faith it is today. Unlike other books on world Christianity, this one is not a regional survey or a chronological narrative, nor does it focus on theology or ecclesiastical institutions. Wow, okay, so global history. Yeah, that's right up my alley again. It's a little late, but I don't so much mind. I'll read this today because the 20th century was brutal for Christianity. It was unprecedented growth, but also unprecedented problems. And then we'll do this last one here. It's quite heavy. Too heavy, I think, to be one book. It's probably multiple books. This is one of these padded plastic envelopes that are the devil's own work to open, but that actually comforts me because I send out a lot of these padded envelopes every week. And it's nice to know that they're not going to fall apart. They're absolutely not going to fall apart. No, this is one book. Just enormous, that's all. Oh, great. Fantastic. All right. This comes out in September. You want to see the people? Here they are. There they are. Look at them all. There we go. Kayla will be happy. Yes, he will be. Wow. Okay, this is by Celeste Marie Bernier and Andrew Taylor, and it is called If I Survive. It's a huge book on Frederick Douglass, who's... What are you doing? What's the matter? Oh, what's the matter? Let's hold this up there. In 2018, of course, is the 200th anniversary of the birth of Frederick Douglass. In this book, the authors widened the Frederick Douglass story to include names of revolutionary activists and authors working in the black radical tradition that are less well known to us. Those of his daughters and sons, and the authors draw on groundbreaking findings to write a collective biography telling the family story, which they accompany with facsimiles and original annotated transcripts of previously unseen speeches, letters, autobiographies, essays, and photographs held in the Walter O. Evans collection. For the first time, it is newly possible to tell the story not only of Douglas, but of the Douglas family in their collective fight for social justice. Wow. So even in uh, a, a publishing world filled with Frederick Douglass books, this is going to be unique. This is going to contain a huge amount of stuff that's never been done before. Wonderful. Fantastic. Okay. Wow, it's awful heavy. God knows what the finished copy will be like. Comes out in September, so I am going to hold off just a bit. But even so, this was not a bad mail haul for the last mail haul of the week. So we have If I Survive, big, beautiful book on Frederick Douglass. We have Christianity in the 20th Century, which I will point out is a subtitle, not a book title, but that's okay. My services are available to publishers on titles and cover designs, free of charge, 24 hours a day. Then The Dead by Christian Cracked. A Knife in the Fog, Arthur Conan Doyle tracks down Jack the Ripper, and A Sleepwalk on the Severn by the poet Alice Oswald. And there you go. I don't want to be doom and gloomy, but I don't think we're going to get a lot more mail this week. We shall see. I hope I'm wrong. But in the meantime, I'll wrap this up for now, but I'll see you soon. Thank you, BookTube.